today's feast of the presentation of the Lord asks every one of us to remember, to recall all of the events that have just passed in our lives as a parish community. Christmas was not that long ago. In fact, I suppose your bills are just coming in right now. But we're asked to look at our natural family, yours and mine. And we're supposed to recognize that, like the Blessed Mother and St. Joseph, that the power of the Most High, the Spirit of God, overshadows each and every one of our lives. Sometimes we forget that, but we know that the Spirit is alive and the Spirit is well, and it watches over each and every one of us, all in God's care. We know that despite the struggles and disappointments, the difficulties that touch many times each of our families' lives, that somehow God is with us, that God makes God's home with us, that God dwells with us right here, right within our own very lives, the dwelling place of God. Remember, St. John says, the dwelling place of God will be with the human race, not somewhere, not extrinsic, but right within us, in our very lives. And that birth, that dwelling, gives us a dignity and a value as mothers and fathers, as brothers and sisters. It gives us a dignity as temples of God's Spirit. We just celebrated the baptism of the Lord. We're asked to look at our Christian family then. Our natural family brings us into this Christian family. The one where we share as a parish community here at Christ the Servant. Again, our God speaks to us of our significance in God's eyes. We need to be able to hear God saying to us, you are important. You are valuable. You are precious. As I tell our kids in school, you are unrepeatable. There is no one of our students that is repeatable. They're unrepeatable. We need to remember that in our own lives. Nobody can take our place in God's eyes because we're loved by God, each and every one of us. And we just need to feel that and remember that in our spirits and in our hearts. But we also know that as the beloved of God, on this Feast of the Presentation, we are reminded that our commitment to faithfulness and dedication to live God's way each and every day in our lives does not come cheaply. It's not a cheap grace. And as followers of Jesus, we will be a sign that will sometimes be rejected, that will be contradicted by the way we live, by the values we share. The heavy cost of discipleship. And Jesus shows it in his own life, that cost. And then we gather here today, and we're called to recognize that Jesus, the light of the nations, the light of the nation, calls us to be a part of something greater than ourselves. As God's sons and daughters, as God's beloved sons and daughters, we share in God's mission, God's project of healing our world, repairing our world. Again, being a sign of contradiction to so many values, so many things out in our world that are not of God and do not belong in this world created by God. And so today's feast, the presentation of the Lord in the temple, asks us to remember our own baptism, in which our natural families brought us here, presented us within this church community, and entrusted us to keep the flame of faith alive and bright in our world, burning brightly, not only in our world, but also in the temples of our Spirit, God's Spirit. God bless you.